Well, that's your calling, right? I mean, your calling is the relationship, and God always promises, find your calling, and I'll feed you every day, right? And you have what you need.
Right.
Or even if you think you need more, you don't. I know you better than that. There's destruction on that side. You just don't know it, right? And I'll bring you what you need to take care of the people that are. Yeah, it's. I remember, one time. Well, I think about it a lot, where I had to make a decision that was. I don't like spending what I don't have, right? So I had to make a decision to spend, and I didn't have it yet.
Right.
And it's not something I typically do. And I was thinking about stewardship and all this kind of stuff, but it was, I kind of got to a point where I said, okay, God, I'm going to start doing what you, like being obedient and not making decisions on my own. And I'm expecting you to keep your promises. And you promise you will, so I'm going to go with it. And if you don't, then but I can't live anymore without relying on you. And so I'm just going to do that, okay? So I hope I'm not sinning by bad stewardship, but I think I'm just going to start following you, right? And it was amazing. It was like it just started. Something came in, and then something else came in, and then something else came in, and then I started to see like, okay, do you want me to do this? Mm-hmm. And then the amount of money I needed to do it would come in the week before. Like, now you have no excuse, right? And I'd be like, okay, got it. It was like I'm going to give you signs. I'm going to tell you what to do, right? And I'll always be there. And some of it is you get in hard times, and you hope he will show up or whatever, but maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. You always get through it, right? You always get through it. You find a way, you get through it, you get by, right? Yeah. No matter what. Yep. And that's good, it keeps you humble sometimes. Mm-hmm. But when you start listening, it's amazing because I don't think he starts talking to you more, you just hear it more, and you see it more. And you know exactly what to do. And it's wonderful to be able to have certainty and clarity in obedience.
Yes.
Because there's the word, but then there's the Holy Spirit, right? And that guides you all the time. Mm-hmm. And that's awesome. Because you're a business owner, the amount of stress and anxiety of making decisions and not knowing what to do and this and that, and now all of a sudden you have this advisor. He's like, we don't have the money for that. And be like, don't worry, we got the money coming. I know for sure, right? It's amazing. So, yeah, I'm really inspired by you, man. I think I love watching what you do. Have you ever any formal training or education, because there's a lot of groups out there that have Christian businesses and stuff like that, and it's not a common thing. It's not a common thing at all. There's a lot of people that they don't put the two together. And I was like, did he just do that? It's just rare. Did you do that? Did he just do that? Like he could be teaching classes that people would pay a lot for as to how to have a Christian business and how to live Christ all the time and the fruit that comes. And yeah, it's a myth that that you're a not-for-profit. That's a total myth. And you don't have to, you can just be as healthy, and you take time out for God, and you don't have to work 85 hours a week and on Sundays and all that kind of stuff, right? You take a Sabbath. Yeah. And sometimes that's hard too, right? But he promises if you do, it's better, right? Mm-hmm. So what's your, I'll wrap up here pretty soon, but what's the end game for William? What is it, do you know what you're, like at the end when you retire and it's all done, and, or it's just time to move on, you're tired or whatever, what does that look like for you?
I honestly don't know. I haven't even, I've tried to think about that. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know what I would do without work. I mean, I've got to do something, and I mean, what will the next season look like? I don't know. I don't know what God has for me at this point, but whatever it is, I'm all in.
Did you envision this where you are today, say 20 years ago? Well, I guess when you were born again, I guess.
I'd hoped for it, but I never thought it would happen because I never expected to find people that would work with me and do things on my terms. Because as I said, the industry was so plagued with people who operated in the same thread, and it was in a different manner than I wanted to operate. Mm-hmm. and trying to find folks who could get inspired by the idea of being a part of something that isn't rooted in earnings, but rooted in serving and being part of the solution.
It's very sad to me that, I think trying to, walk with God and everything, and people thinking that you can't do that to make money or all that kind of stuff is, it's such a myth. It's so untrue, and because I was there. I've done that, and I even said, "Look, I'm just going to do it your way. I don't have any money, blah blah." And he comes through, and he really does.
I learned a long time ago. I decided that I think if you make it a point not to focus on revenue, that it takes care of itself. I believe that, and I believe that the Holy Spirit planted that idea in me, and He's demonstrated that by choosing to focus on the people and the relationship, and trusting Him with the resources, trusting Him to work all that out, that I will be free to focus on the people and be part of the solution. And I promise you, He has delivered exceedingly. Anything I could have hoped for. People ask, what are your goals financially? I don't have any. I've never had any. It's not the reason I do it. Like I said, it's never been about the money, and that's the truth.
Yeah, it's just funny though that as soon as that's not the goal, it starts to come.
Right.
Right? It is amazing.
That's right.
You said, what I learned was, it's not a not-for-profit. You actually start becoming incredibly healthy, and you're going to be shocked at kind of how that happens. Now, I didn't know, you're scared and whatever, and you have to make decisions that you didn't used to make.
Right.
They're not rational, worldly, textbook decisions that you should make. And people will be surprised. Why are you doing this? Why are you hiring this person? Well, because God told me so, right? How do people look at you when you say stuff like that, right? But you know for sure that it's the right thing to do, and then they see it. And then they see it come to fruition, right? And they see how much at peace you are. It just takes a lot of, it takes a lot of faith to do that. And I wish that we could get the word out there more, that you don't have to be scared. There's nothing to be scared about, and just do it, right? Just do it, and you're living proof, right? It's, hey, we're doing it, and you're doing it in the industry, right? And say, can you make money following Christ? Can you make money if you make your auto shop a ministry and not a business? The answer is yes.
Absolutely.
Not theoretical, not because I'm a Bible thumper.
Right.
Come look at my story. You can do it.
Absolutely.
I know you want to. I know you don't like doing what you're doing, right? And you're living proof, right?
I'm thankful for it.